Hello, Jay. Jay, tell us how is training camp going? What has been the process like, and what are your expectations right now?
Well, I think training camp's been going really, really well. We've been healthy. Deontay's been in great spirits. This is a fight that nobody wanted to fight Ortiz except Deontay. Deontay wanted to fight him the first time when nobody wanted to fight him, and nobody still wants to fight him. And that just shows Deontay's Wilder's character. That he's reaching out to guys that nobody wants to fight and say, you know what? I want to fight you. Nobody wants to fight you, but I'll fight you. And their first fight was so good. The second fight is a can't miss. You gotta watch it. It's going to be fantastic.
Break down this fight for us. What will happen in the way you envision it?
I think it's going to be a very interesting fight, and I think the first fight probably took 3 or 4 rounds to really get heated up. I don't think that's going to be the case because the guys know each other, so they've been in there together. They've seen what each other has. They know from a stylistic standpoint, from a biomechanical standpoint, they know what each other brings to the table. And so I don't think there's going to be a big, long warm-up process. It's going to be from the opening bell. It's going to be very interesting.
What are you expecting for Ortiz to do differently this time for sure?
I think that we're going to see the best Ortiz. I think that he knows this is his last chance at the big time, his last chance at a world title, and I think we're going to see the best he has to offer. And I think that he's going to look at what he did the first fight, and he's going to try to make some corrections. I'm not going to say what I think he's going to do because we're working on ways to counter that. But I will say that I think we're preparing for the best Ortiz, and Ortiz better be preparing for the best Deontay Wilder. Deontay's in there with a bit of a monster, but so is Ortiz.
If Deontay comes out with a victory, who would you like to face out of Ruiz versus Joshua in that second fight that they are having?
Well, I will say when Deontay comes out with a victory, not if. When he comes out with a victory, then we will visit that question. The thing is, I wear two hats, manager hat, trainer hat. The trainer hat is the one I've got on now. And the trainer hat says there is no Fury, there is no Joshua, there is no Ruiz without Luis Ortiz. Without a victory in that fight, none of the other things happen. So speculation at this point is worthless. We're just zeroed in on Luis Ortiz.
Well, then let me ask you, as a boxing expert, who do you think is going to come out with a victory in the Ruiz versus Joshua fight number two?
I think that's a very interesting fight. It's hard to call, and I'll tell you why. It's going to really come down to who handles their current situation better. Joshua's coming off his first professional defeat. How does he handle that? Is it still playing on his mind? Is there doubts, or is he past that and he's ready to get back in there? Ruiz is also going through a lot. You've got to remember, he's now a guy that everybody wants a piece of. He could walk down the street a few months ago after he knocked out Joshua. He can't walk down the street anymore without people mobbing him. He can't go somewhere to a boxing show without everybody wanting a piece of him. He's got people offering him deals. He's got people offering him women. He's got people offering him clothes and jewelry and cars and come to the islands and come to Europe, and it's nonstop. It's all day, every day. So who handles their current situation better? That's going to be the victor of the fight.
Lastly, what would you say to the critics who may question Deontay's ability to win without a knockdown involved and going all 12 rounds in a fight?
Well, I mean, that's a funny one to me. That's really a funny one to me because why would you go the distance if you don't have to? Why would you take punches? Our whole thing is like when Deontay said for the Brazil fight, he said, I want to get back to the basics. And the first thing I said is, I love that because when you get back to the basics, which means getting your nutrition right, getting your rest, getting the right sparring partners in here, if you do all the right things, you're going to make 6, 8, 10, 12 round fights into 1 and 2 round fights. And that's exactly what happened with Brazil. You see what I'm saying? So why would you go the distance if you don't have to? That's insane. It's a heavyweight division. You better get them out of there when you can. Believe me.
Well, I'm asking because people, after seeing the fight against Ortiz and against Fury, those fights have been closer to going the distance than being decided by knockout. So, in respect to the more recent fights, what would you say to the critics who would question his ability to win had he not had a knockdown or a knockout?
Hey, you'll like this one, Michael. listen to the people in the stands, and one day you'll be one of them. Ooh, you like that, don't you? So no, yeah. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. So no, what I would say, to be totally honest, is I would say that not every round is a round that you're necessarily, uh, you know, let me see the best way to say it. Sometimes you're trying to achieve a bigger objective, and it may be that you lose a round or two in the process, or maybe even more than one or two. But if you're getting to where you need to get to be successful, right, then it's worth it. So, if you're looking at a situation like where you're trying to get your foot in a certain position, and it maybe takes 3 or 4 rounds to really get your positioning right, and maybe you're down 3-1, but now you've got your positioning right, and you score the knockout punch in the 5th round, like Gerald Washington, right? So yeah, he was behind against Gerald Washington. Maybe we gave away a round or two, but we were getting a bigger picture. We were getting something done from a positioning standpoint that would allow the fight to end like that. And so if we were down a little bit, so be it.
Thank you.
Thank you.